Ambazonia, our fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement. Accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro. Today is Friday, and today is the 7th of February 2025. I'm delighted to be here once more, and I'm glad we're able to exchange ideas again on this platform today. It's been a rough ride for the past couple of days, or for the past few days. All the same, no point bothering anyone with whatever was going on, but I'm happy that I'm here. I'm glad that, we can do this again, that we can try to touch our collective consciences once more, that we can reawaken the revolutionaries in us once more, that we can tell those in our midst who continue to be a drag on our quest for freedom that things will never be the same again. Whether they like it or not, the train of freedom had long moved, and it will only stop when it gets to freedom land. And therefore, if you are one of those who are working tooth and nail against this dream, the great dream of the people of Ambazonia, for a free, prosperous, democratic homeland, a place they can call home, where they will feel protected, where they will feel connected, where they will feel loved, and where they can blossom without fearing anything from anyone. That dream cannot be killed, because that dream is in the spirit. It's in the spirit of the people. It's in the minds of the people. That dream cannot die. And so I'm delighted to welcome you all on this platform today. And if you're just joining us, if you're just joining this live show, my recommendation will be you share to as many people as possible, so that we put our heads together as always and see how to shorten our journey to freedom land. My people of Ambazonia, I said last month, that was in the month of January, that this year 2025 is a year that is extremely loaded. There is so much ahead. I mean, extremely much, that it will be as if you are in a roller coaster and you see the way the year started. Immediately violent, and as you could have expected it. You've heard about incidents I will still talk about in another broadcast in Koteng, in the center region, where the workers of Sosukam set a lot of the company structures ablaze, went into confrontation with the police. A policeman and the protester are said to have died. That is not enough. You heard about youths mobilizing in Douala and telling Mr. Biya that they are ready and they may soon be forced to carry arms. You have seen all kinds of things brewing everywhere on the territory of La République du Cameroon. While that is going on, they keep trying to fool you and I with mirage, because they know that when it gets so hot, they are going to pull all their resources from everywhere into Yaoundé, and then some in Douala, but especially Yaoundé. Recall, Mr. Paul Biya had told you that tant que Yaoundé respire, le Cameroun vit. And so, for Mr. Biya, the last battle will be the battle of Yaoundé. He will put everything in to see how to at least hold Yaoundé and himself. And so, when I was about getting into the studio for this broadcast, someone sent me some pictures. You see the senior divisional officer for FACO, that is the colonial administrator in FACO, has just inaugurated a bee camp in Mutengene. You see the bee are also trying to bee camps in other places. They haven't extended right into your village in Ashong. They're going to place. I said, don't worry. Let them build bee camps in every single quarter, neighborhood in Ambazonia. They will uproot them by themselves, by necessity, because it's going to become so rough that they will not have soldiers enough to take care even of their own situation, let alone those that they will keep in our land. My people of Ambazonia, in this preamble, I'm trying to make us to understand that all we have to do is continue to prepare for the great moment, and that great moment is not far. Let it not meet us unprepared. I want to doff my heart to those who are continuing to make calls here and there. Those who are building communities, Ambazonia communities, are also doing a great job. Those who are trying to bring together, to close ranks between our various groups, movements, and organizations are doing a great job. Those who are helping our self-defense volunteers on the ground to continue to bond together are doing a great job. That is the greatest and most important step in our preparation towards this very important moment. When we are operating in total harmony, when we are operating in synergy and are able to see eyeball to eyeball, even if we don't agree on too many things, we are going to be getting much ready to face the challenge when that time comes. This is what I say, and this is what I like us to bear in mind. Folks, listen, nowadays, people don't defend what is right. They defend who they like and benefit from. I've said this before. I'm repeating it because it's going to be sounding more and more in our ears. A lot of the things that we are going to be seeing will justify exactly this statement that I continue to copy and share for our purpose, for our edification. Because when we see those things happening, we should understand that this is what is happening. None of those things should discourage us because the expectation, the visual of it is actually meant to discourage us. We will see the actions of those who call themselves our elites, the actions of older men and women in our communities who are supposed to be raising heads and saying, but how do we plan to, or what legacy do we want to bequeath to future generations? On the contrary, they are ready to destroy everything. We will see a lot of that right ahead. But before I open that package, let's start here. I could have left this so that I use it in another very important package that will be coming in the days ahead to talk about the turmoil that our Republic of Cameroon is already facing and how they are getting the more confused because they are definitely unprepared. They've always thought they are prepared for everything, but this time around is different. Now you see what happens. While I was getting ready to come into the studio, a correspondent, someone just called me quickly and sent me this image. I'm sure it should be on social media by the time I finish, it should also already be on social media. And this image is of young people in the far north region of La République du Cameroun. They call it in the Mayokani division of the far north region, where the people have blocked the governor, blocked the senior divisional officer, blocked the divisional officer and their convoy on a section of the National Highway number 12, which is destroyed. They have blocked them there and they are telling them their rule. Take a listen, watch and have fun.
Gouverneur, préfet, sous-préfet, le maire, acharin bara bin hore, kaurina amma horin harti, lai kodan kano, mana ikon kano awat shanin bin hore, amma hore got bara buju, amma hore got harti, yar burkiyo ko, ma ashawanin bara bin.
So what you are seeing there, these are Tupuris, the population of the Mayokani. You see, they have blocked the governor of the far north, the senior divisional officer, of course, of Mayokani, the GO of the locality where they are. They've blocked them in this enclosure that you see. This is along the National Highway number 12. And what you can hear them booed. You can hear them being thoroughly booed, being seriously booed. These are people who usually have been considered sheep, le mouton du Nord, considered sheep, idiots, people who have not gone to school, illiterate, stagnant illiterates, who can never rise for anything, who can never say anything. They have been manipulated for years. And now they are saying enough is enough. My dear people of Ambazonia, let me allow you to get the sound again. Enjoy the sound bite.
awat shanin bil hore amma hore go tara buju amma hore go harti yar burtiyo go ma ashawanin bara bil hore dai ko mbaka no sode o préfet mo gouverneur maire wono sode wallahi awat shanin bil hore wad media anday ma na im chanuri an hore lay kayno amma kor hartin hore do dayma gale birak narano wa sara tipo do asal kayla allah go basa sai ajamwa do hore no dama hore mama na to ne amma hore mama yala do ni so
So, what you have just watched happened today, this 7th day of February 2025 in Mayokani, in Fano. You see, I tell you, as I was telling you from the beginning, that don't run your brain riot or yourself riot. You see, those people were dumbfounded. The governor, SDO, DO, their entourages, divisional delegates, chiefs of service, all of them, they were mesmerized and they were definitely frightened beyond imagination. So you see, they were taken there hostage and the people were telling them what they think. The people were giving them a piece of their mind. And the people were making them know this is just a foretaste of what is lying right ahead. Now, when you look at this, you understand that when you have 20 of this like this in one day, in different localities, just 20, and the people decide to go from being peaceful like they were today, to being violent, like we have seen them already becoming somewhere else, then Mr. Paul Biya will need to hire the military of Chad, the military of Central African Republic, maybe some military in Nigeria to be able to contain. He will not have military enough to continue building useless bee camps in Amazonia. I'm telling you, it's going to be really, really, really hot. This is not a laughing matter. This 2025 is pregnant, very pregnant. That is why we must get ready. But folks, one thing brought me to the studio today. It is a correspondent or a supposed special invitation I received from someone who sent to me all the way from Bangui, a member of the CPDM crime syndicate, sent this to me. I mean, a member of the CPDM crime syndicate based right there in Bangui, in the top ranks of the party right there in Bangui, who herself got so disappointed, so horrified that the people they refer to as their fathers would bring themselves down right to this level. And she told me, Mr. Akuro, I've never reached out to you. I've always been very angry with you, frustrated with you, that people are struggling to, set us apart, to take us away from La République du Cameroon, while we in the CPTM, but I have come to realize, frankly speaking, that everything is being lost. And today, I feel ashamed coming to you, but I really had to come because this is so undignified. And then when she shared this with me, I looked at it. I was like, oh, gracious God. Fortunately, I had it last night. And this special invitation says, special invitation of a royal visit and honor. And this is prepared apparently from the office of the colonial prefect or prefect of Momo in Bangui. And he says, His Excellency, Honorable whatever, Mr. Fuda Etaba Benoit Nekers, SGO of Momo and wife, Mrs. Fuda Ne Zes Sandrine, cordially, oh, I'm sure they want to say cordially, but they wrote cordially invite you for a royal visit and honor in our residence in GRA Mbengui by some Momo Fons on Sunday, the 9th of February 2025 at 1 p.m. prompt. This is the program. Arrival of the elites, arrival of traditional dance groups, arrival of religious leaders, arrival of the administration, arrival of the forms. Opening prayer by a leader or religious leader, welcome address by the SDO Momo, speech from the president of Momo Fons, traditional decoration on the SDO of Momo and wife, animation by traditional dance group, refreshment and closing remarks. My dear people of Amazonia, if this is not the textbook definition of witchcraft, tell me what it is. How on earth we forms the owners of the land, gather themselves together and move from various crannies of their various palaces and transfer themselves to the residence of a foreigner, of a stranger, to the residence of a colonial administrator, to the residence of a plunderer, because they all have blood, the blood of our young people on their hands, to go and decorate him. No. How many sons and daughters of the grass field have ever had the fun come to their compounds to decorate them there? Where does that happen? You go to the palace in the event where this decoration is even necessary, it's even justified, even has its place. The so-called Fons will gather in one of their palaces and invite this fellow and his wife to find their way there, be received there, pay traditional honors, and then they get decorated. Where on earth have you seen palaces, a number of palaces, being displaced to go to some nincompoop's compound to go and decorate him? This is exactly what we talk about, the desecration of the tradition of our land. My people of Amazonia, I get so disconcerted when I see things like this. Disconcerted because La République du Cameroon has not only plundered our land, they are not only killing our people, they are not only cutting our resources away, they are not only looting from us, they are not only dehumanizing us, at the same time, they are throwing us on the ground and walking on us. And unfortunately, with the complicity of those who are supposed to be the wise ones in our communities, those who are supposed to be the candle bearers, those who are supposed to be the torch bearers, those who are supposed to be the ones telling us this is what to do and this is what not to do. Momo Fons Union. What do they have? What have they got? From 42 years of tyranny, 65 years of emotional torture, 65 years of underdevelopment, 65 years of tinification, of dehumanization, and you carry yourself. You see, this is why a lot of people in our communities are beginning to rise up to question the role of these royal palaces again in our communities. Do they serve us anymore? These are the questions people are asking. It's because these royal beggars who took over certainly from Fons who were worthy of the sword, from ancestors who kept the royal baggage, who kept the royal dignity in place, who made these institutions worthy of their calling. Oh, we used to address them as lions. The tiger of this village, the lion of that village, the this of that. The other day I was talking to a colleague and I was asking him, when are you going to invite your fund to the United States? I see a lot of funds being invited to the United States, to Europe, and all of those, and this guy from South. I said, because your fund is now on exile in the Republic of Cameroon in Yaoundé. And he told me, if I were not a man, I'll be talking with tears in my eyes. He said Binglo has ruined the Nsot culture. He has destroyed the Nsot fandom. He has shattered the image that was ever known. Because I myself, I know, the Nsot fandom was one fandom where, we knew that the institution of the fund was so revered. Whenever they said the fund of Nsot was passing, people stood at Akimbo. The Nsot people and their tradition was something else. But today you can find a lot of Nsot people actually calling that fellow now by his name. Calling that fellow by his name. Because he has become so useless and become an instrument into the hands of illiterate Atanga Ponji. Msembinglo is no longer real. The substance is gone. Now it's chaff. This is what happens when you take a golden ring and put it around the nose of a pig. All you do is tuck it in mud. Because these individuals don't understand the grandeur of the offices they hold. And let me say this to some of these funds who are not aware. France, La République Française, some people know France. The Republic of France was once a kingdom. It was once a kingdom. Oh yes. And the last of the kings, the last of the veritable kings, because after that you have some people, like there was one Napoleon who installed himself to a king, but the last of the real kings of France, Louis XVI, he stood and saw monarchy destroyed, abolished, and France moved from being a kingdom to a republic. When you hear people begin to make noise left and right and say, maybe we need to eradicate those fandoms and not have them exist anymore, you may take it for a joke. But by your attitudes, by your actions, by your uselessness and stupidity, this kind of idea can easily take root. You may be fooled by the fact that we, the people of the Southern Cameroons, we adore our culture so much that we wouldn't mind even if you continue to betray, war on our corpses, on our blood, to go and eat blood money. We will continue to maintain. A day will come where that idea will sink into the minds of many. And you will discover how your name gets erased from the surface of the earth. Because the people rise and say, we put this in place, we don't want it anymore. And you often know how they say it. Vox populi, vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm saying this. If you think that anybody in Momo, I come from Mogam, right up to this moment, I was still carrying my shoulders a bit high. That for all of those notorious Fons who have been doing stupid things all over the place, none of you, among the 22 of you in Mogamo, has been quoted yet anywhere. I am hoping that this nonsense that I see here about Momo does not include any of you. Because it would be such a shame, such a ridicule, such an embarrassment. Because those of you who didn't have the opportunity to go to Yaoundé to collect the 7 million from Atanganji, he certainly pushed some of the crumbs to Mr. Fuda Etaba Benoit Nikes, who now asks you, come and decorate me. And you all go with some little envelopes. Maybe you now go and get 300,000, 450,000 even. I tell yourself that you are doing something. It's a shame. If you are from Momo and you are watching me, pick up your phone, call your phone, tell that phone, I don't want to see your image among the useless morons who be finding themselves in Bengri. I am royalty. I respect royalty a lot. But anyone that will find himself there, you are the one I'm referring to as a moron. Because you lose that respect from me from today, immediately. You're the ones I'm referring to as morons. This is not how we will keep the dignity of our land. The people of La République du Cameroon are beginning to learn from us. They are beginning to learn how to stand up for what they believe in, how to stand up for what is right, how to stand up for their self-dignity. La République du Cameroon is noticing they're getting rougher and rougher that way. Now they want to use you as a buffer. Having tortured you for 8 years and counting, how many of you are ever living your phantoms? What a shame. Why do you get into this when you know that after this event, you are likely to find yourself in running battles with your own sons, who are the self-defense volunteers? I found myself here on this platform, preaching and urging respect for our traditional institutions, respect for our traditional rulers. But when you make yourself banana, expect monkeys to eat you. Monkeys must have you as a meal. They must have you for their meal if you make yourself banana. That's what this is. And I'm saying this, I want to take this opportunity to draw the attention of the sons and daughters of the southern Cameroons abroad. Be you in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, in the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates, in the United States of America, or say North America. Listen, if your phone is one of those who operates as a royal beggar all over the place doing these disgraceful things, don't you dare invite those people, to your various communities. You know, we usually go out, all of us, in solidarity to celebrate our Fons when they come. But you will soon have situations where, even right out here, people will come to the airport not to celebrate with you, but to boo your Fon. If you invite royal disgrace abroad, because now we refer to those ones as royal disgrace. If you invite royal disgrace abroad, expect that you have people who come to wherever you are receiving them to boo them because they are a shame to our communities. Now look at that. I always said, and I'll repeat this, that anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you will end up with less than you ever settled for. When La République du Cameroon made noise about some rubbish called special status, those of us, the pro-independent Southern Cameroonians, the Amazonians, we said, stop right there. We don't see how you, who were supposed to be with us in a union of two states, equal in status, will begin giving us special status. How does this begin? You don't even have the local standing. How does it even sound in the ears? But some nincompoops felt that it was their opportunity to reign. They jumped onto it. One of them, or some of them, of course, were among them, were still those Fons. And now you hear the president in Bamenda, from Kevin Shomitan. This is the son of the late Fons Yakumto. Fons Yakumto was at least a great guy with a reputation. But hear him.
Term of office, it is saddening to note that we have been bundled here for ridicule and our status as traditional authorities threatened.
Can you hear? Bundled for ridicule. Our status as traditional rulers done what? Downgraded, crushed, assembled for ridicule. When you make yourself a piece of ridicule, they will put all of you in one place and ridicule you all collectively. And you know the catch is that even in that so-called regional assembly that is saying they're facing all this ridicule from the chairman of the regional assembly. The chairman of the regional assembly is himself royalty. He's a prince. Oh yes, he's an Angwafo. He's a prince from the palace of Mancon, who himself is supposed to know the position of royalty. But since he is within, I know that royalty now is an empty shell. Because beginning from his father, for Angwafo, the whole thing had been trivialized and destroyed. So should he pay respects to anybody? This is for Angwafo of blessed memory. You look at that. Someone, I just picked this one where someone said the day Fons lost power. Look at that's for Angwafo. We all recall that the very feared, revered, and respected president of the Federal Republic of Cameroon at the time, El Haj Babatura Ahijo, visited the southern Cameroons. Went even to Nsok and did not wait for the Fond of Nsok to come and meet him at ceremonial grounds. He finished at ceremonial grounds and went to meet the Fond of Nsok at his palace. And you needed to have seen from the pictures and the stories we heard from those were the level of reverence. But look at this. This is for Angwafo. Greeting, shaking hands in such a way, and being looked eyeball to eyeball with a woman. I don't want to describe her. Let me not talk. So how then do you expect a prince from such a palace who knows that that royalty thing is even nonsense to be showing respect to Shomitan and others? Let's hear him. Let's hear him cry.
I crave your indulgence to present to you how our institution is functioning for 4 years into our term of office. 1. As provided by the law cited, as provided by the above cited law in its section 352, the Executive Council is supposed to be the executive organ of our region. This provision of the special status is neglected, and only the president is the executive as in other regions. Section 30506. 2. Our house
So there is really some content to special status. Please pardon me if I laugh. Because I know that even right in La République du Cameroon, you talk to people about special status, they don't even know what you are talking about. So you see, this is the ridicule. This is how you make fools of yourselves. And it just corroborates what I said a while ago. That anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you end up with far less than you settled for. Because nobody will respect you. Nobody.
is one of 2 houses of the assembly, and as provided by the law, section 345, we are supposed to receive regional deliberations and give our opinion. Unfortunately, we have never received a regional deliberation and thus have never had the opportunity to give any opinion for the adoption of deliberations. 3. In this session, we will vote and adopt a budget for the assembly. I regret to inform you that I was not associated with the preparation process and not also associated with its execution. Some of us have been invited for an end-of-year cultural jamboree organized by the assembly. The organization of this jamboree is an indication of how far traditional rulers are neglected. I see dignitaries being decorated with traditional attributes by our subjects. What a slap to our face. As Vice President of the Executive Council and President of the House of Chiefs, I am not able to know who prepares the food we eat during sessions.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? They don't even know who prepares the food that they, the Fons, eat. Really? Really? But we know about the sacredness that's supposed to be involved with the preparation of food that should be served to our traditional authorities. We know how this is done. But look at them. When you expose yourselves, who gives you respect anymore? Of course. They can pick those in the people that they call warlords from every angle to just come sit down, do whatever, and serve it to you. Do you care again about your dignity? Do you care again about, what your traditional role entails? Do you care again about, about the respect that's supposed to be entrusted to you? You've decided to run after crumbs. You've decided to run after the marriage. You've abandoned the people who picked you to reign over them. And now you put yourself at the mercy of those who are using you for their ends. Put yourself at the mercy of those who are turning you against your own people to achieve their aims, to the point where so-called Fons come and sit and claim they want to curse their sons. I said it before, and I'll repeat it. Anytime as a Fon, you go and see that you are cursing your children, that curse is returning upon you. That's why most of you today are moving all over the place like vagabonds. That's why most of you today are turning around like beggars. It is even high time too that well-meaning sons and daughters of all our villages, when you notice that your Fon has transformed itself into an instrument in the hands of rogues, of members of the CBDM crime syndicate, like the one of Bamising, who got up and made lousy, stupid pronouncements. Fon of Bamising, are you there? Can you hear me? Hello? I hope you are still hearing me. I'm sure you are still there, because I recall you and I had a rendezvous That you gave some people until the 31st of January. 31st of January. That gone past that date, you were going to rain fire and brimstone. I'm yet to hear anything from Bamese. The only bro and all of his men are still there. Are you there? See the level of lunacy. See how they reduce you to rubble. Usually we knew that the word of our traditional rulers is law, because the belief had always been that they were actually chosen by God to reign over us, the people. When you take yourself to the point where you start pronouncing words that you know will be disrespected because you want to please some Toms, Dicks, or Harrys, that's where you land yourself. You reduce yourself to ridicule. Look at Shomita crying before their own son, before a prince.
It is prepared and the conditions under which it is prepared. Food preparation, storage, and preservation is sacred to a traditional ruler of the Northwest region. This
He knows it's sacred. They know it's sacred, but they have been eating. Did you protest from day one? Did you protest from day one? That no, oh, hey, where was this food prepared? We can't take it. No. You accepted. You are riding on until someday you get up from slumber. It's as if we're having a bad dream. Aye, this food like this, who has been preparing it? Nonsense. That's where you have placed yourself. All what you are making now is noise.
practices desecrate the traditional heritage of the Northwest region, and it is regrettable that we can do nothing about it. Term of office. It is
Now you see, he is clear. His conclusion is neat and clear. It's regrettable that they can do nothing about it. Why? Because they gave their hands by themselves to members of the CPDM crime syndicate to tie them. And so they can do nothing. Because even after all this crime that he cried here, I still saw Fons, I still saw Kevin Shomitang in Yaoundé. In Yaoundé, at the meeting that Tanga Ponji called for people to come and say, Hallelujah, Paul Biya, come on, Paul Biya, Ayop, 7 more years. He was there. What can you do? You already said you are powerless. So there's no use crying. Because you know this crying will go to nowhere. The devil doesn't listen to cries. The devil doesn't listen to appeals. No! The devil will hear strong language. Can you rise up again to claim your right the way you ought to have claimed? From day one, when you had the backing of your people? And Fons Shomitang forgets that the only reason he was able to spend 8 months in the keeping of the self-defense volunteers led by No Pity and Kameway was because of the respect that our children, all of us, still have for our traditional institutions. This is very important. But when you make yourself beggars, people use you as such. Why is they making his own? Why these Fons are they making fools of themselves like the ones from Momo who are preparing to go and get dignified and get walked over by a fellow from the Center South? There is a chief in Fako who says his own is to spread xenophobia. Watch him. What you are seeing there is a chief supervising the destruction of a structure that a gentleman whose only crime is that he hails from the grass field of the southern Cameroons and is building in Fako, in the forest zone of the southern Cameroons, on a piece of land he bought and paid for. His only crime was that he is, like this gentleman called him, a Bamenda man, and he should go back to Bamenda and build there. Despite the fact that he bought this piece of land, paid for it, and everything. Follow now, because you will hear the sound bites.
They don't tell you, say, I don't use this place. This place people place. But I don't use this place. Time and again, they don't hold me to this place because it's become for them. Already. Una no land or una valid, so no land. Now people their villages. Una come go for the permit, go find land. Now what is this? Una go for the village, they go find land for the village. Now no come back people that place them because they soft. Una can't clear place. Now una put another place. Una go Bamenda, go find land for it.
Such a shame. Such a huge shame. I don't want to say much about that, but those are some realities that we'll have to grapple with as we go forward. I'd like to conclude this show, I didn't intend it to be really long, with this. Never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. I've received a lot of threats. I've received all kinds of insults and threats from here and there. People telling me you think you're a Superman, we will deal with you. But I've said, my contract with this truth is all the way unto doomsday. As long as I live, I will tell it until we get this freedom we want. And this is why I'll keep repeating here that never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. We will fight and we will win our freedom by the propagation of the truth, by standing with truth, by looking at people eyeball to eyeball and telling them what we think about their actions and reminding them that their actions go contrary to the wishes and aspirations of the people they are supposed either to be leading or to be reigning over. We have to say this and we have to do this. This is a sacred duty we must uphold until we attain this freedom that we are seeking. It is not easy. It's going to be really hard. It's not going to be praises all the time. We are known it will not be a walk through the park, but we had all taken the option. We're all agreed. We're all vowed that we will fight all the way to the end. So folks, let's keep fighting. Let's keep holding firm, strong. Support the struggle as best you can. If you can make a contribution, do. You will help us to reach out to those who are absolutely in need to continue to resist until we attain our objective. I saw a very humiliating picture of one of us, Dr. Mfo Susungi. I wanted to bring them here today, but I was still trying to think of how to put the message across. But we need to do something to at least rescue what should be left of his dignity. He looks a very sorry state of himself in foreign land. This is what the struggle has really done to us. This is where like Republic Cameroon has placed us. We must fight and fight until we get there. To God be all the glory. Have a good moment. Until we meet again. Ciao. To God be the glory.